We're finally here. Welcome to Diversified Diecast. I've been trying to get to these five for a bit. Should be a pretty quick video, and then we'll get into the assortment of Porsches. There'll be a bunch of different collaborations, maybe even a mini series. There's so many, but there's a little teaser. There's plenty more in there to go off of. I think there's about 34 or 5 mainline, mid-grade, and Silver Series style Porsches. I'll start working on those tonight. But for now, we're going to start. I don't think these are in order because they all say 2013. I'm not sure if they're all only from that year. I guess we could do them in order if we want. So that'd be like this. So this is car 20 at the cup game at the ball field. You just got to slide around and find the Fugro beans or Goya beans. So we'll start with the 67. Those will build 442. And these have retro slot wheels. They are not real riders, but this series is a metal on metal, if you will, Spectra Frost paint, which it is, but it's more of a flat, or it's just not cleared. So copyright on these is 2013. According to this card, these are the ones that are in, I guess they're in pairs of 6, 24 total, so 4 pairs. Get my trusty dusty razor blade. See what this one's all about. Some of these had, these were obviously stored in clamshells. Some of these I got had some really bad cards on them, and since we're busting everything open these days, it was just more of an excuse to do it. It was kind of hard to pull these out, but these will look good on display because they're a more premium model, if you will. There's your undercarriage. Let's go turntable. All right, so I'll try to get this thing in focus here. These don't have any detailing on the front or the rear, but I do like how they roll the double die cast the chassis up into the bumpers. Still a really nice model. Interior is just a little bit better than plain Jane Hot Wheels. Still a nice car, a nice model. Beautiful color on this car. All right, next up is going to be the 55 Vet. So there's different ones in this series, or part, or sub-series, or what have you. Again, same copyright. Oh, there's 30, I guess. So maybe there's 5 sets, or there's 6. There's 5 on this card, and I don't know, there's 6 on that one. I have to do a little more research on how these things are configured, but this is the most recent one I got. This came from Purchase Guy Juan on Facebook. Car on this one's got a little bit of age wear, so obviously it wouldn't ever really be worth anything to the grand scheme collector who's real picky. That's fine. It don't matter. We don't like blisters here on Diversified Diecast. We're allergic. All right. I like all the pinstriping and graphics on this one. The copper bronze is a nice color too. You can get this matte to cooperate. It likes to shift around. Again, one of the complaints I have about these cars is they don't have real riders. They're still plastic tires. And I mean, they got some kind of cage lens like these first gen Vets have, as you can see on the front right there, but no detailing on the front and the rear. So these definitely need a custom treatment if they're going to stay, which I plan to keep them because all the castings in this series I think I like, and it's a nice run. I guess they did in 2013 because it probably would have been a 55th year anniversary, maybe. No, 45th. Take that back. 68 to 2013 would be 45 years. So maybe that was why they came out with these renditions. If any of you guys know, obviously drop in the comments. Red interior would be my first pick for this thing, but anything different probably would be a little too much. But overall, still nice. All right. Next up's the 68 Hen Barracuda. 24 out of 30. Here's the run or sub-series, I guess, is with it. The Plymouth Duster Thruster. I think we have this. We have a 61 Impala over here to the right, car after this. Got a little Hoosier tire livery on the front fender. These cards are actually worse than I thought. They got some decent damage on them and some staining. That's what happens whenever you keep them just in boxes or in totes without putting them in clamshells. And in my opinion, again, that's all speculation, but it doesn't really matter now because they're free. Oh man, you cheated us. Himikuda, and technically, I got that wrong. It's not a Cuda. It's a Barracuda. Nonetheless, still really nice. Let's get a better eyeball look at it. Oh man, I'm really digging that color scheme. That really goes well together. Looks like a Ronald McDonald hot rod. Looks like the big red and yellow clown just step on into this thing and order a Happy Meal. My favorite so far, but I think the Falcon Boulevard, since it has rear wire tires and I have a connection with that car in particular, that'll make this number 2. But if that car wasn't in the picture, this is probably number 1. Again, we still ain't got the Impala out yet. 61 Impala is up next, and that may be the new contender. Okay, last one of the cool classics that I do have. Definitely wouldn't mind getting the rest of these. If it's definitely a casting that I want, I will definitely get them. Show y'all to them on the channel in case y'all don't have any. Y'all be able to check them out. Definitely want that one. Probably that one too. Oh, all these are good. Probably not the first gen Camaro because I steer clear. They're just not my favorite car like everybody else's. I'm not a fair weather fan of that car. They're great. I respect them. They're nice, but they're just not really my thing. First gen Firebird all day. Sorry for all the shuffling. I'm just trying to add some of the mess in the background. And they got the color right. God, why couldn't they do a little better job? I mean, at least they gave us some chassis detail. Again, these things don't have any tempo detail on the front or the rear. Let's get some better light on it. I don't know, what y'all think? I like the red interior with a little bit of red and white pinstriping on this, kind of like denim blue, if you will. This one's definitely not as shiny as the rest of them. It's more of a dull, subtle paint color. But the body style of these cars has always been super desirable. You know, if you were fortunate enough to ever get in one of these cars or be around one that had the big 409 in it, you know, this was the Mac Daddy in the early '60s for sure. A lot of style, a lot of power, a lot of room, even for a two door, and not a very common car to acquire these days, from what I've gathered. So again, this is 61 Impala. This is car 27930. Okay, Hot Wheels Boulevard. This, from what I've put together, is basically what they did before they started doing premiums. Copyright on this one is 2011. I think they started doing the premiums in 2015 or 16, something like that. And obviously these are on like a standard size card. You know, this thing is exactly the same size card as a mainline, right? Premiums are thicker card stock and, you know, a little taller and a little wider. So obviously if you come across any of these boulevards, depending on what they are and what people are asking for them, you may be able to get some older premiums, you know, first gen premiums before they were called that, at a reasonable price. I know the ones that I have seen of these, they're pretty proud of them. Most of these things start at about $10. Again, I guess it just depends on who you're buying them from and what they have or what they think they have. I know this one would come fairly cheap. In a trade, it probably equated to $5 or $6, give or take. Oh man, what a sweetie! Thunderbolt hood. See, we got some paint detailing on this one. You can kind of see it's not perfect. They got a little smudge on the outside of these, but it's nice. Okay, so on the '64 Falcon Sprint, I was telling you my dad had one of these. I'm not sure when he actually got it, but it was somewhere in the neighborhood of 73 to 75. My parents were first together out of high school. The car originally belonged to his half brother, and it started out life as a, God, I want to say it was a 289 two barrel. And I want to say it was a 3 speed. Uh, when his half brother got a hold of it, it was all tore apart, and they basically built that 289 motor into a monster. I mean, how things are speculated, you know, from war stories, if you will, from your family members. But I do know that, you know, it had super high compression, like 13 plus. Um, at one point, he ran a 2.4 carburetor setup on it. You know, it had big, nasty ceramic coated or painted white header sticking out, and this thing was, it was a wheel stander, right? Real low gear. They went with a Muncie, or not a Muncie, but an aftermarket 4 speed. There was all kinds of stuff done to that car. You know, suspension work, ladder bars. They did some coil spring work in the front, and the car was just too fast in that setup. So it eventually got put down to, I think, a little 650 or 700, you know, 4 barrel, and the car was wrecked. Obviously, you know, from my dad pounding pavement in it. But a lot of good stories. He always talked about having fun in that car, and you know how scary and dangerous it was. So every time I see the '64, the '63 is pretty similar, but it's a little bit different. And the Sprint was kind of like a deluxe package, if you will. Um, these things look really, really good whenever they're done up like this. They got the right stance and some big rubber under them. You know, they're pretty popular in the Pikes Peak world and the road race world. You know, where they can get a good suspension under them. And you know, nowadays they're doing box body 5 liter Fords. You know, with carburetors or an injection on them, or they're doing, you know, some other kind of motor swap. But very neat. This one will go up there with his stuff. And I'm glad to have this one. This is the only Ford Falcon 64 I have, period. So very glad to have this one. That's a quick under 15-minute one for today. We'll knock this one off. I'll start going through the Porsches, maybe start filming some of those so I can get them uploaded. Let's just say for now they'll be in 3 parts. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. If you haven't liked subscribed or commented, etc., please do that. We hit 50 followers this morning. I know that's nothing compared to some people, but in the 3 to 4 weeks I've been doing this, I feel it's a pretty good, amount of growth. And I think we're like 36 or 700 views. So it slowly grows every day. I watch it just to see the trends. I'm glad it's doing whatever it's doing, and let's just keep it up. You guys give me some ideas, throw out stuff in the comments if you want to see something different, or more of this, or less of this, or you want to see this. I don't mind having some jaw drop factor. I'm going to open up some Chevy square bodies probably sometime this week. I got a few left from M2, and let me know what else you want to see. Thanks for watching.